Welcome to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Please be seated and turn to page 2 in your liturgy book. Nikaya 3 refuges. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old.
There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Mahayana refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love go within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers. For the lineage of teachers before them, I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened. May their vows be completely realized. And may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion, may all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred. Being close to some and distant from others, how wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the process of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the process of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have a joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this.
Please stand for the Heart Sutra, found on page 4 of your liturgy book. So change of plans. We will do the Enmei Juku Kanagyo, found on page 6. Enmei Juku Kanagyo Kanzeya Namu Butsuyo Butsu Enyo Butsu Enbo So Enjo Rakugajo Jonen Kanzeyan Bonen Kanzeyan Nen Jushinki Nen Furishin Kanzeya Namu Butsuyo Butsu Enyo Butsu Enbo So Enjo Rakugajo Jonen Kanzeya Bonen Kanzeya Nen Jushinki Nen Furishin Kanzeya Namu Butsuyo Butsu Enyo Butsu Enbo So Enjo Rakugajo Jonen Kanzeya Bonen Thus the pure heart always rejoices. In the light recall this, in the dark recall this. Moment after moment, the true heart arises. Time after time, there is nothing but this absorbing world sounds awakens the Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices. In the light recall this, in the dark recall this. Moment after moment, the true heart arises. Time after time, there is nothing but this absorbing world sounds awakens the Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices. In the light recall this, in the dark recall this. Moment after moment, the true heart arises. Time after time, there is nothing but this. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here, now. The wind blows, leaves fall to the earth, and Guanyin finds us in dark and broken roads. We give thanks to all the ancestors of meditation in the still halls, the unknown women and men, centuries of enlightened women and men, the clouds and wind and sun. Let wisdom go to every corner of the house. Let people have joy in each other's joy. We especially dedicate these merits to our sibling in the Dharma, Sarah Tinka Kier. May the karma of their birth, life, and death be as lustrous as the pearl shimmering undisturbed in the vast sea. May the mistakes they made be forgiven. May the good that they did continue to flourish. And may the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas guide all sentient beings to accomplish the Buddha way together. We also dedicate these merits to Jomana, Fatima, Bujo, Olivia, Joe, Harold, Hazel, JJ, Jasmine, Soke, Roger, and Debbie. May they have peace and healing. And to Marquise, Mike, Keeson, Dorothy, Kayla, and Cindy at the time of their deaths. And to all those affected by cruelty, calamity, injustice, and war, and to those we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. Dharma school students and teachers can proceed to class. Everyone else, please prepare for zazen. You will now stand for communion. First and third rows from the center aisle, please turn to your right. Second and fourth, turn to your left at the sound of the clappers. We will now recite the Song of Covenant found on page 8 of your liturgy book. We, the Daishin Gurmaji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with the wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated, and in a moment we will recite the Gatha and opening the Sutra, also found on page 8. And please, sit in a way that you are facing the front for the teachers. Gatha on opening the Sutra. Infinitely
externally, internally. And so we've been kind of moving through all of these different things. And today we covered our last one. We covered right concentration. And in June, on the weekend of June 2nd, there's going to be a special ceremony where the understanding of these teachings and the personal decision to say, this is my path. This is something that I will get mom or dad to drive you to because I want to be there until you can drive yourself and get the keys to the car, which I'm sure happens anyways. And it's just, I encourage first off everyone to be here to help the Sangha acknowledge this aspect of its own growth and these young people. And this came to us through a lot of effort. And so as I've been doing over the last year, here and there, and working through talking about different aspects of the Eightfold Path, and I wanted to talk about two of them today because I kind of saw a thread between them. And they are right effort and right livelihood, actually. So the Eightfold Path is practiced kind of all at once. But when we look at them, there is a little bit of an arrangement to it. They orient us. They provide us with moral and ethical practices, right speech, right action, right livelihood. And we then get into trainings of the mind, what we need to do with the mind to unhook or have a capacity to unhook from our tendencies to generate a lot of problems for ourselves. And so that is right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. But the effort is a real beautiful thing, and it seems to really run through the livelihood. Now on the surface, right livelihood is fairly straightforward. Find your way to survive in this world in a way that does not generate suffering for others. Different teachings get pretty specific. It's like, you know, don't be an arms dealer. But make sure that what you do, this is pulled from Bhikkhu Bodhi's writings on the Eightfold Path, that what you do is legal, peaceful, without coercion or violence, and does not support or cause the suffering of others. One of the great things I love about this practice is it wasn't just a list of jobs, which would have been horribly outdated quickly in the time of the Buddha. But it's guides that you then have to take and use to look at your own existence, your way of moving. And you have to come to terms in a very clear and direct way of, am I embodying this? There's external checkers in the world. We have police. We have social guidelines that, not surprisingly, map onto a lot of these things, the legal aspect. And being human, we have a moral compass, something that grows out of us as we live with each other. But much of what we decide on comes from the work we do internally. And so, I'm a high school teacher. Seems like I'm engaged in right livelihood. But there are ways to do my job even seemingly well that could easily not be in accord. In the desire to help students, I might make a very poor decision to steal, photocopy copyrighted resources because they'd be really useful to put in front of them. And you look at these sorts of things, and you can get really bogged down into like the minutia. It's like, could I write it on the board, or do I make photocopies? If I make photocopies, I'm killing more trees. Is this hurt the world? And those are questions to ask, but it's not the mind state to engage this. It's actually, I would say, more of a heart state to engage in. When we train, we sit, we try to see how that mind shows up when it can get quiet. And we're seeing how that heart will want to show up as it gets quiet. And I like that we do Kinhin after Zazen, because having found that, we now have to put it into action. We take that stillness and we move it. Zigzag through the zendo, and then to the buffet, to the car, and out to our home, our family, our place of work. And we have to show up. And so, lists of ethical guidelines. What is an acceptable job? They might be a good pointer, but they're very limited in terms of a tool for spiritual practice. Wouldn't be so much a tool as a rule. I'd rather receive a guide that I then have to look inward and apply. Because when I move, then I am moving from my own heart, I move from my own center. And if we practice and clarify, then when we move, we can move in accord. We can move accord with the people around us in the zendo so we don't turn the wrong way and walk into them in zazen. We can move in accord with the teachings that we reflect on and look at how we engage in the world and make our way, make our mark, leave no mark. Figure out a way to put food on the table, make sure the kids are taken care of, make sure the cats are taken care of. Kitty litter is heavy and not free. And I really liked the fact that when they order these things in the Eightfold Path, effort comes right after livelihood. And it seems like they're talking about kind of a different thing, but right effort is one of these threads that really kind of goes through everything. Because as my own teachers and my senior regularly say, this is an embodied practice. There is energy to expend, just in existing. I'm burning calories right now. I'm helping or hurting myself right now. You right now. No pressure. And we do a lot of this before we even twitch one muscle. This is where they start talking about right effort. Right effort in the Noble Eightfold Path is in this little cluster of three of right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And I remember when I first looked at it, it was like, I didn't understand mindfulness and concentration are different? Effort belongs in that group? I'm still looking at it and uncovering it. Effort and mindfulness are fuels to our concentration. And we know when we talk about environmental stuff, the type of fuel we burn to achieve a goal also has an impact on that goal. And so we can go out into the world and we can put in a lot of effort. We can do the thing. One way or the other, this is going to happen. Okay? Hell or high water kind of thing. And that effort could be driving a really positive goal. Okay? That house is not clean. It has not been clean for a long time. I am going to clean that house, and I can go through there like a bull, putting everyone on edge, really disrupting the household, disrupting the family. But that house is going to get clean. There's a lot of doing, there's a lot of effort, not right effort. Effort and outcome are different things. Right effort comes from, and again, I'm going back to Bhikkhu Bodhi and this translation of the teachings in the Pali Canon. Right effort is driven by wholesome energies. But it doesn't act alone. It's the thread that goes through all these other factors. This is a very Buddhist teaching way of acknowledging it's complicated, just like everything else with our life. Very simple, very obvious, and complicated. Effort, as a note to myself, effort is what can transform a pretty idea into something that helps. And effort is something that can transform a ugly idea that also has an impact. So effort makes a difference, and that wholesome force, that wholesome source, where is this effort coming from, is as important as the thing we're trying to do, more important. Sometimes we hear the teachers talk about the idea of doing something and leaving no trace. So we put in the effort to get here on time, to get to the grocery store, get what we need, to have the conversations with the people we need to have. And if it's not driven by all those other fuels, the right intention, the wholesome energies, we can get that thing done, but there's going to be a trace, and you're going to feel it. I'm going to feel it. People around you will feel it. You burn through that energy, and it leaves a mark on you. You get really angry. You get the thing done. Anger is a powerful fuel. And it has a cost. Before this building existed, there was a teaching Rinzin and Doan gave to us. I think it was actually around the time we were starting to talk about the possibility of this place, about the types of effort that one can And I ran into another reference of it that took me to this thing that talked about the 4 proper exertions. And Bhikkhu Bodhi referenced this as well within right effort. And as much as I get a kick out of this, I always kind of roll my eyes when every time I turn around, I think, I know what the teachings are, and then you encounter them nested inside some other greater list. So this right effort, which manifests as these 4 exertions, is further nested into the 37 aids to enlightenment, and you know a lot of them, actually. The Eightfold Path is 8 of them. But I remember the teachers talking to us about the good we could do, or the harm we could do, through sustaining good and bad things, making them stop, not letting them arise in the first place. And I ran into that expressed in this other way as the 4 proper exertions. And this is effort that shows up. I'll read it. Effort to abandon unwholesome and unhelpful behaviors and things. Okay? The effort to stop doing crappy things, bad things. This is a good in the world. Applying that wholesome effort to stop the bleeding. And we can go on better. Better than that, we can prevent new bleeding. We can prevent unwholesome, unhelpful, or bad things from arising. So we can stop it happening. We can abandon it. We can abandon a habit. We can abandon an unwholesome energy. Or we can stop that even before we start. Don't let a new one rise. Our Jukai initiates right now. There's something embedded in that about, I think it's in talking about intoxicants and how they work in the mind, and not just drugs and alcohol, but things that we can internalize and generate unwholesome energies. They don't already exist. Don't introduce them. Prevent it before it arises. And this is a good. And we can go one better. We can see that there is a good. We can see a natural, wholesome energy, something wonderful in the world, and we can cultivate that. We can help it thrive and survive. Our children come to mind. And for those of us who have children, or cats, or dogs, or whatever, you have a life that you support, and you take care of it, you nurture it. You have a tendency, you have a relationship that brings joy and good to the world, whether it's your love or your life partner, and supporting them, or your volunteer work, or your sangha, and there's a way you can take this good that is already in motion in the world and feed it and support it. And this is a great good. Nourish the good that exists. And we can go one better. We can create new good. We can create wholesome activity. We can create helpful scenario. We can just, something wasn't there, and it gets conceived, and great wholesome effort from so many people is brought to bear, and poof, instantly, but through long efforts, a building like this emerges. Through great love generated within a relationship, poof, instantly a new life emerges. And there's this good now that you can nourish from a tiny, tiny little kid. Not until your child leaves the house that continues to nourish and generate good, poof, instantly your grandma. One of my favorite kind of mental reminiscing activities is to look at something wonderful that I love. Oh my gosh, look at that little moment so long ago down such a winding road where this started. I had someone's deck of cards. Are you going to see Julie later? Could you give that back to her? Sure. The seed that we identify as good, one choice, or the seed we identify as bad, one choice, can be nourished, it can be fed. When we sit down to practice and do Zazen, we are cultivating a clarity, cultivating a single pointedness of mind. Or we're not. Or we're sitting there looking awesome and we're stewing. We're fighting. My virtuosic hidden skill is winning angry arguments with people who aren't here. And I never lose those. And every moment I spend doing it, I'm cultivating that mind. I can get there real fast if it's well cultivated. I'm always cultivating something. And I've been doing this practice for a long time. I'm very grateful for the fact that I can very often get into a certain level of stillness and serenity relatively quickly because it's a very close friend. And it's familiar, I can see it, I can cultivate it. Easy, it's already a big good. And I just have to help it along. So this, for me, is how I see right effort. We are always cultivating something. And the energy that goes into that cultivation is going to have the biggest possible imprint you can imagine on your own heart. Our teachers have given us so many tools for the cultivation of a heart and mind that can abandon the unwholesome, prevent new unwholesomes from arising, cultivate existing good, and be open to the creation of new good. We've gone through, the liturgy is a distillation of all of that. Zazen lets us look directly at how that moves around inside of us so we can call ourselves on our own reality, what's coming up for us. We are very lucky to be in this position, this precious human life, easily lost, that we have an opportunity to make the choice to apply right effort. And that right effort manifests, that right effort manifests in every aspect of our lives, our mind, our heart, our livelihood. And the moment we get up off the cushion, we put it into motion. May, for the sake of all beings, our movement in the world be sourced and driven from right, wholesome efforts that, for our own sake and for the sake of all beings, we can create good, nurture good, avoid bringing rise to evil, and end those unwholesome things that may be in our hearts. For our sake and the sake of all beings, may it be so.
May it be so. Answer,
Thank you everyone for being